Welcome back to The Big Picture. With me now is Renae Mussachio, who is a multi-dimensional energy therapist and a life coach and an author. And believe me, in these times we need a life coach and an energy therapist. Explain to me exactly what you do, what it is that you can help people.
I actually tap into the energy. Like everybody, everything is energy. The reason we're not falling through these chairs is because it's vibrating at a different rate. I tap into that energy. Okay, because we're connected, and how I see that, I actually see energy. So that's really very interesting, but it's like these little cells, and all these cells are connected, and it connects us with everything in the room, everything everywhere. So it's all I'm really doing is more tapping into that cell of somebody or something. And this might sound a little crazy, there's a lot of multi-dimensional energy healers out there, and they're just energy beings. Like, when people talk about angels, things like that, that's what they are. And for whatever reason, these angels talk to me, and when I look at somebody, and not that I have these on, I call them my etheric eyes. I don't put my etheric eyes on all the time. They're off, because that will freak people out. But when I start to work with somebody one-on-one, the etheric eyes go on, and all of a sudden I would see all these bodies in front of you, behind you, side to side, top to bottom. These are all versions of you. Everything that you've gone through in your life, they're all seeing it. It's the version of you, it's an energy version of you. And for whatever reason, those energy bodies talk to me. So if you have something going on, an energy body will stand up and say, well, yep, he has to have that going because I'm his struggle body, and this is what I do for him. So I really tap into a lot of different multi-dimensional energy aspects to help you or whoever it is I'm working with cleanse and get their life back on track, or find out, okay, hey, what's going on and why is this happening to me? And then I can say, oh, this is why it's happening. It's very easy because your parts tell me.
Now, I've heard people talk about maybe seeing an aura around someone. And that's from as far back as man has been around. There's been stories like that. Is that similar?
It's very similar. Interestingly enough, I don't see auras, which I always find very interesting because I can see all this other energy and all these other things, but I don't see somebody's aura, which is the energy field around them. And those people amaze me because they can look at it and say, oh, your third chakra is closed or whatever it is. And I'm like, wow, I wish I knew that. I know it. I could look at the energy body and say, oh yeah, that's really constricted. Your energy is constricted there, so I know something's going on. But it's very similar just looking at energy. When
I was in college, we did studies. We talked a lot about Kirlian photography and the energy that was around various things. And everything seemed to have that energy around it. If you took the pictures that way, it's interesting. We'll put some pictures up of it. So it's not just an imaginary thing. There is something to it. That Kirlian photography, for instance, there's something to it. It's not just a fantasy.
Correct.
So you can sense an energy, and on a microscopic level, and as a student of science, I know that basically everything is moving. All molecules, all atoms are vibrating. That is, there's a basis in science for that. Okay, so there's an energy there. How do you help people to change that energy or make it more positive? Explain how that might work.
It's actually very easy for me to do because it's not something that I personally am saying, okay, this is what we're going to do because this is what I had learned in school or whatever. It's because everybody's going to be different. Everybody's got a different energy field. Everybody's got something that is, they're holding on to a limitation or whatever from some event in their life. So it's always going to be different. So when I start to work with somebody and I start to talk to them, I'm literally talking to what I call their higher self. Their higher being that is saying, look, this is what we need to clear because this person is struggling or this person is doing, whatever it is that we don't need to do anymore. So what I do is I tap into that energy field and I just start to have the conversations with all of your bodies. and say, okay, what do we need to do to clear this? This is no longer working for you. And then we will typically go through a meditation, and I channel, these beings or your higher self, whatever, and I will channel whatever needs to be said to watch the energy clear from you. But even if I said to somebody, right now you can just sit there, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and exhale out, and just think, I'm going to release and let go. Because we're all holding on to so much stress and so much tension, especially now. There's this stress and this tension that's being carried. And when we stop and we just, okay, hang on a second, I just need to stop and I'm going to disconnect. It's really interesting, and if somebody of science, Phil, that everything is always working. The minute you're thinking disconnect, your bodies all know what you mean. So they start to disconnect from all of this stuff coming in, because when I look at people, we have, especially in today's world, we have all of these energy like tubes coming in. So you walk into some place and it's got this crazy energy and you feel it. It's an energy tube coming in and hooks into you. So when you say disconnect, what you're doing is you're disconnecting that energy. So it's really more educating people. This is what we can do. Let's say disconnect. You're feeling out of sorts. All right, now recenter. And it really is that simple, saying recenter, closing your eyes, taking that deep breath in to recenter the energy fields and to disconnect everybody else's stuff from you, because we're just so caught up in it all.
When somebody's watching out there now and they're thinking about what we're talking about, if they were to come to you and their life is full of stress, especially now because we're in uncharted territory and there's a lot of unknowns out there. We don't know how long this virus scare is going to last, where it's going, and what the outcomes are going to be for a lot of people. Say they come to you and you're going to help relieve some of the stress, and long term in their lives, what can they expect of you? What kind of a difference will you make in their lives?
I actually we will start to cleanse their energy, and where they just lay on the table and they're just relaxing. And I just say to them, have your thought be release and let go. Okay, and the energy is going to go through. The most important thing, though, after all of that is done, I love to educate the people. This is what you can do. Very simple, easy things to do on a daily basis. When you go to bed, have your thought be, I now receive all I need and let go of all else. What you're doing is you're giving your system that information that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Because typically we go through our days, and like you said, we just get caught up in day-to-day stuff. And in today's world, we're hearing all of this stuff going on, and it's causing fear within all components. Well, you go to bed and you're not thinking anything. What are you thinking? You're thinking, oh my God, is this going to end soon? Am I going to get to go to work? And what's going to happen with my mortgage? Your mind's going crazy. If you start to just stop, take that breath, hold it for a second and breathe out and just say, I'm just going to let all this go. Or I now receive all I need to let go of all else. You're telling your system, bring me in the energy that I need to let go of all of this. Even if you said, I disconnect, like whatever it is for people, that means to them, I'm going to let this go and I'm just going to focus in on me. Because to me, at this time of the world right now, is all about us coming within and stopping all of the crazy that's out there and saying, I'm going to focus on me and get back into what was right for me, what causes me peace. And it could be connecting with family, it can be just sitting there and breathing and allowing yourself to start to think a little different way. So I'm actually educating people, because I tell them, it's not going to do you any good if you're still coming to me a year from now. I need to educate you on what can you do on a daily basis. And I actually give it to them all in writing, because typically they're not going to remember, because this is a lot of different things that is not the way the brain typically is used to. We're used to all the panic. So I was just giving little things. Now when you wake up in the morning, just stop before, because the alarm clock usually wakes people up and then they just run and start to go. Stop, take a deep breath, say, okay, what is my day going to be like today? Little things make such a huge difference in someone's life that they don't realize, because we get caught up in it and we don't realize what we're actually caught up in. Does that make sense? And does that answer that question?
Yeah, and how long or how often do people come to you for this?
Typically, I will have somebody call to me once, and then here's the information you need, and I have meditations and different stuff that, you know, I typically will give them and say, this is what you will need for the course of the time. A lot of times I will see somebody just once in their lifetime, and that's it. Some people will come back and say, you know what, something's just not right. I'm not sure what's going on. Or if they've got, you know, crazy stress in their life of other situations, they might choose to come back. But I will always say to them, listen, you don't need me right now. You know, don't come and pay me to do this. I'm going to tell you what to do now. And I will tell them over the phone, look, do this, this, and this. And then if you still feel like you need me, let me know.
Okay. And you have an office that people could come to you?
I actually, interestingly enough, before all of this hit, I had stopped seeing people one-on-one and sort of was started to shift a little. And I now do it through Zoom.
Oh, I
which
see.
is really interesting because
yeah.
people are still feeling the same effects. And what's nice is they're in the safety of their own home.
Interesting.
And we, you know, connecting through Zoom. And because sometimes people would come to me and you could see, like, if their emotions just come out, like all of a sudden they start to cry, and that makes them, you know, like, I'm not going to cry in front of this woman. I don't know who this woman is. But now when they're at home, and I say to them, I'll need to see you on that video, because I'm looking at the energy. I don't need to see you on video. So I'm going to just like lay down and I'm going to bring you through this. And people say, oh my God, it was crazy. I felt crazy things and I could do. So it's really very interesting and really cool how it's all working.
Well, we're going to put up some information as to how they get in touch with you. That's all the time we have on this segment for The Big Picture. I want to thank Renae for being my guest. Especially now, we need a little relaxation, a little relief from all the stress that we're going through. I want to thank you for watching The Big Picture. As always, we really appreciate the connection with the local community. I want to thank you again so much for watching WBBZ-TV. This is your station. We'll see you next time on The Big Picture.